This project was funded by an Arts in the Parks and Historic Sites grant courtesy of the Indiana Arts Commission. Thank you. Hey, did you see that sycamore tree? Yeah, that one. That one, right by the waterfall. That's in McCormick's Creek State Park. A beautiful haven down in Owen County. About half an hour from Bloomington. Indiana, you know, the Midwestern part of the United States, below Michigan, sandwiched between Illinois and Ohio, in the Western Hemisphere, planet Earth. Well, on a hot summer day, you might wander into this park. There are lots of people there in the summer. You might take a trail down into the recesses of the limestone canyon. Take off your shoes, submerge your feet in the running water, smell the coolness and the calmness of the earth, close your eyes, or look up at the 100-foot limestone cliffs. You might feel like you've come to the end of the world. This is the oldest state park in Indiana, dedicated on July 4th, 1916. All right, let's imagine for a second, 224 years ago, an 11-year-old Miami Indian wandered this canyon collecting feathers for arrows. She was taking care of her 6-year-old brother, who caught 8 crawfish and put one of them into her hair. Some things never change, do they? The two of them played, collected crinoids, put them on sinews. Their mother was at their settlement on the banks of the White River, and their father was hunting in the canyon. These youngsters loved to explore this beautiful place. They loved to chase each other down into the sinkholes that dotted the woods in this karst topography. Once they thought they saw a wolf coming out of a cave. They climbed up into a tree. Actually, it was the very same sycamore that I showed you in the beginning of the story. The tree had a hollow spot in it where a family of raccoons was living. Bonus. This was Indian territory. Of course, the word Indiana means land of the Indians. We call it McCormick's Creek, after John McCormick, the homesteader who worked the land and settled it in 1816, just before Indiana became the 19th state. This was not good farmland, and the people had to make money, so they cut wood and they quarried stone. Floods washed out the train trestles that carried the limestone trains across the White River to the main lines. Not an economic success story. A sanitarium was built for wealthy sick people to get better, and this was not an economic success story either. The state bought the land, and they turned it into a park 100 years ago, like I already said. But it needed help. There was a ramshackle gatehouse and a stretch of the creek over Echo Canyon that was almost impossible to cross. Trails were non-existent. It wasn't working, and at that time, neither was our country. There was a tremendous economic depression. 18 million people were unemployed, 2 million homeless, and in 1933, Franklin D. Roosevelt said, we've got all these things that need doing and all these poor people without work or skills, and we need to use the government to put them to work. The Civilian Conservation Corps was created as part of the New Deal in 1933. 64,000 CCC workers were in Indiana, and quite a few of them built this park. They built trails, they dug wells, they made the gatehouse at the park's entrance, they built the spectacular Stone Arch Bridge, as you can see there, and the CC Recreation Hall. These young CC workers did such fine work that 3 of the structures in McCormick's Creek State Park are in the National Register of Historic Places. Next time you come through, take a few moments to marvel at this quality. It's going to last a lot longer. Let's get back to the canyon. It survives today much like it was 500 years ago, and actually it's been pretty much the same for about 50,000 years. There's a layer cake of limestones, Salem limestone at the bottom, St. Louis limestone, and St. Genevieve on top. The park today is filled with second growth hardwoods, tall and mighty, not as mighty as the old growth that covered the land. You'll have to go to Spring Mill State Park to see that. The same trees continue: tulip poplar, shagbark hickory, elm, beech, sycamore. You can thank the CCC, the state of Indiana, Mother Nature, And take the time to wander this peaceful, out-of-time haven, like those young Indian kids, or like people today in 2018. 100 years from now, when we're long gone, children will wander the canyon, and maybe they'll think about us.